Hello and welcome to my review of the Space Marine Heroes Series 2 Brother Fuerran. Now I thought I'd kick off with the Space Marine Heroes Series 2 Terminators. If you don't know what they are, well, they're Series 2 of the Space Marine Heroes. Series 1 had you know, the normal kind of legacy Space Marines in really cool poses, loads of different characters, all the rest of it. Series 2 now has all the Terminators. They're painted in Blood Angels colours, much like the Series 1 were painted in Ultramarines colours, but they've got no Blood Angels icons on them whatsoever. So you are free to paint them whichever colour you wish, absolutely fine, so you can use them in any of your chapters. That's one of the big draw points for me to invest into these Heroes series. Series 3 has all the Death Guard, and definitely will try and get my hands on Series 3 at some point. So going back to Brother Fuerran, he's one of my favourites out of the Series 2. He's got this awesome looking assault cannon. I've always liked the look of assault cannons, and the fact that he's got a power fist as well just, you know, seals the deal there. He comes with this little instruction booklet. These models are for the most part push to fit. You can get away with putting them together without any glue at all because they've got plugs and sockets, and they just slot on the base, and the different parts slot with each other. That was the same for Series 1 as well. I think it's the same for Series 3. But an interesting point is that you get two head options, and each head option, either the helmeted or the non-helmeted, is different for every single one of these Terminators, which is fantastic. Price-wise, I haven't really mentioned that, but I think if you were to buy them separately, they can range anywhere from between £7 and £10 each. I bought all of these Series 2 in a box set, which I think cost me about £55 or so, which isn't too bad, considering you get 10 Terminators, which 5 of them from Games Workshop would set you back about £28. So it works out to be a similar price as to buying them separately, but bear in mind you get a lot more options in those separate kits from Games Workshop compared to this Series 2 collection. This Series 2, they're all push to fit, and they all have the specific weapons that they come with, and you can't mix and match. You don't get any spare parts other than the spare heads, and so on. So I just want to make those points, you know, the differences between them. Also, the older Terminators, they came out, I remember it vividly, in 2004, so that is 16 years old. Okay, let's have a look at the miniature itself, close up. As you can see, loads of detail on these Heroes 2 models, specifically the bases as well. There's lots of empty casings there. The Terminator armour is pretty awesome. It's slightly different to each Terminator. This Brother Fuerran has these extra armour plates on the front, rather than the typical Terminator armour, which either goes all the way up to the knee or just below the knee and has a specific knee armour piece. So this is quite a unique set of armour that he's wearing. He's got his power fist. Again, where the models have power fists, they have different icons, and some of them are in different poses. Some of them are completely clenched shut, some of them are open, and so on. He's got the assault cannon, which from the outset doesn't look too different from a normal Terminator assault cannon. However, it does have this round dangling from it there. And what's also to note is it does have an ejection port, whereas the assault cannon on the old Terminators, they don't have ejection ports, which is, yeah, a bit odd. Nothing else going on with the back. It's got the Crux Terminatus little symbol, and some of them have these little shields going on. They work really well. The old Terminators had options for the shields, specifically the combat Terminators, the close combat ones. You've got a purity seal there, and the helmet itself has some inbuilt, some additional optics, and some optics on the top right. The separate head, it looks like this. There you go. It's kind of got like a mohawk type thing going on with the same optics as his helmet, and he's got a like a stud on his forehead. Yeah, very square head for a Space Marine, obviously. So there you go. So that was the spare part in a way. So there you go. I'll show you some size comparisons, I guess. This is the aforementioned 16-year-old Terminator there. You can see, yeah, clearly the Space Marine Heroes Terminator is bigger, but that's only because he's on this base where his leg is up. You know, they are essentially the same size. That's the difference in the assault cannon. When I paint it, the assault cannon will look just like that. And I'll even paint the helmet white with the black. It's quite odd that I don't have that much gold on these Terminators, considering my normal Space Marines, the most newest members of the chapter, have the gold. You know, like the Primaris and just the newer heroes that I've painted. What's interesting to note is that's just a normal power fist, and this Assault Terminator has a chained fist. I think it just makes sense. If you're going to invest so many points into the assault cannon, you might as well put a chain fist on him, so that when you lose him, you lose the chain fist as well. So there you go. That's the difference there, or no difference, I guess. Next to, just because I had these bopping around, these custodian Terminators, gives you a bit of a size comparison between custodies and regular Space Marine Terminators. This is an Alaris Custodian Guard with a massive Guardian Spear that looks a bit bent, I guess. So, yep, that's next to the Alaris Terminator. And then with another Custodes Terminator, which you can use in 40K or Horus Heresy, up to you. This is an Aquilon Terminator, the thickest Terminator ever to grace any Terminators. I mean, look at the size difference there, absolutely astronomical. These things are huge. This one's with a Solarite Power Talon, I think, and a Infernus Fire Pike. I've got a review of these guys, so yeah, just type in Aquilon Terminators and you'll probably find it. So yeah, excellent model there, but yeah, just goes to show you just how big they are compared to normal Terminators. And if you want to see size comparisons with all the Terminators that I have, you know, with the Tartarus and the Cataphracti and so on, just type in Custodes Alaris Terminators full size comparison, and I actually compare them to lots of different Terminators, including the Death Guard and the Tartarus and Cataphracti and so on. I'll put the link in the comments for that size comparison with other Terminators. You might find it quite useful. Okay, so this is my part of the review where I will just run through some of the rules for Brother Fuerran. Now, he doesn't actually get any special rules with the card that you get. It sucks in a way. It would have been nice to get something specific, or the way they work together, or you know, if you have them as a full squad, something like that. As it stands, rules wise, you can just take him as a regular Terminator, and what that entails is that if you have them in a squad, their power points will set you back 9 and a points cost of 23 per model. Plus his assault cannon is 22 points, so it's quite pricey. So you're looking at 45 points plus his power fist, which is 9. That's 54 points just for this model alone, which is quite pricey when you think about it. I'll just give you the rules for his particular loadout. So the assault cannon is a 24-inch range, heavy 6, strength 6, AP -1 and a damage of 1. It is a heavy 6 weapon. It's nice that it gets 6 shots, but it is a heavy weapon, so I do question whether these Terminators have to stay still for him to shoot it, as it's a heavy weapon. Take off 1 from the hit roll. But I remember when it was a straight up assault 4 weapon, I think it was, and that meant that it could still shoot it and move. It's still 24-inch range though. Nice to have AP -1 on it and a damage of 1, but I think it also had a rending rule back then, which meant you didn't get a save, or it was AP 3 rather than like the minus that we have now. But there we go. The power fist itself is a strength ×2, AP -3 and a damage D3, and and when resolving an attack made with this weapon, you subtract 1 from the hit roll because it's a bit slow. His stat line would read: movement at 5 inches, weapon skill 3+, ballistic skill 3+, strength 4, toughness 4, 2 wounds, 2 attacks, leadership 8, and a save of 2+. So now, in the sort of grand scheme of things, comparing him to an intercessor, he's a little bit slower than an intercessor at 5 inches instead of 6 inches. He's got the same wounds and the same attacks, just a better leadership and a better save, and he has a number of abilities such as Angels of Death, the combat squads, where a unit that contains 10 models can be divided into 2 units of 5. He's got the teleport strike, whereby you can set up this unit in a teleportarian chamber instead of setting it up on the battlefield. And then if you do, the end of one of your movement phases, you can set this unit anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 9 inches away. He's got the Crux Terminatus, so every model in the unit has a 5+ invulnerable save, which is fantastic. That means he's got a 2+ normal and a 5+ invulnerable. Bearing in mind the Cataphracti armour, that gets you a 4+ invulnerable, but that's even slower. And finally, they've got the Teleport Homer, whereby if the unit has a Teleport Homer, you place one deployed Teleport Homer anywhere in your deployment zone when you set up that model for the first time. When the deployed Teleport Homer is on the battlefield, that model's unit can perform an emergency teleport instead of moving in your movement phase. If it does, then at the end of your phase, remove that unit from the battlefield and set it up again wholly within 6 inches of the deployed Teleport Homer. That deployed Teleport Homer is then removed from play. If that deployed Teleport Homer is ever within 9 inches of any enemy units, remove the deployed Teleport Homer from play. The deployed Teleport Homer is represented by the deployed Teleport Homer model, but does not count as a model for rules purposes. So there you go, that's quite straightforward. You can just do that emergency teleport. Keywords: Imperium, Adeptus Astartes, Infantry, Terminator, and Terminator Squad. So there you go, that is the rules for a Terminator, specifically Brother Fuerran, in terms of his capabilities. He's got the assault cannon and the power fist. He's a good looking model. He's definitely one of my favourites in the whole collection. Better than kind of just aiming a Stormbolter or walking forward with a Stormbolter. I like that he's got this assault cannon, you know, cocked upright like that. It's something that you can't really achieve with you know, the older models, and I like it when Games Workshop create miniatures, unique miniatures in poses that you just normally wouldn't be able to recreate. I think that's great. Anyway, what do you guys think of Brother Fuerran and this Space Marine Hero 2? If you have enjoyed this review of this one Terminator, you know what to do, and please leave a comment also, and that will spur me on to make the reviews of each one of these Space Marine Heroes, as I did with Series 1. Well, thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor Protects.